Hello, my name's Yvette Madden. I'm Head of Strings for Surrey Arts. My colleagues and I have been making a few videos about the stringed instruments within the orchestra. They're also very different, so we really hope you'll take a look at them and enjoy. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to a short video on the violin. Now the violin has the highest voice in the string family, and by string family what we mean is instruments that play with a bow that have strings. So the violin has the highest sound, and then a slightly larger model of the violin is called the viola, that makes slightly lower sounds, and then there's the cello, which is even lower still, and the double bass with very, very low notes. So 4 instruments in the string family, all looking quite similar to this. Now the earliest violin was made in northern Italy in about the 1500s by a violin maker called Andrea Amati. That's the version of the violin that as we know it. The most expensive violin these days sold moderately recently for around $16 million. So let's talk about the parts of the violin now. As you can see, it's a little bit like a person. We've got shoulders, we've got a neck, a head. This is what we call the scroll. It looks like a piece of rolled up paper. We have the fingerboard with the strings running along it. The belly with the F holes where the sound comes out of. The tail piece with the adjusters, which we turn right to tighten the strings to make the sound higher, or left to make them looser, to make them lower when we're tuning the violin before we start playing. And we turn it round and we have a back. And it's hollow inside. We can tell that by the sound it makes. If we blow inside the F holes, we can hear it's hollow, and if we tap gently on the back, we can also hear the space inside the violin, and this is the sound box. The sound comes out of the F holes. Now, while we would normally play with a bow, we can also play pizzicato, that means plucking. And the 4 strings on the violin range from a low G to a D and an A and an E. A good way of remembering that is good dogs always eat. Let's hear what that sounds like with the bow. Now most bows are made from wood on the top and horsehair underneath, and if you watch the separate video you'll learn more about the bow and how to care for it, and also another video about how to care for your violin. Let's hear some more of what the violin can do. So as you heard, some of the notes are relatively low. And that was a nice loud sound. Or we can play softly. What I can do is I can put a little mute onto my bridge. The bridge is the part that holds the strings up and away from the fingerboard. And let me play something high, just to show the high voice of the violin. This is a theme from Saint-Saëns' Carnival of the Animals. It's called Aquarium. And I'm also going to demonstrate to you how we use vibrato to soften the sound. Okay, so this is how gently and how high the violin can play. So the mute makes it even quieter. When we play close to the fingerboard, we can play a nice soft sound. And when we play closer to the bridge, we can play quite loud. Most of our bowing will be halfway in between the end of the fingerboard, which is the black part along here, and the bridge. Now we can also play 2 strings at once. So that's the sort of style of music that you might get in folk fiddle music, and the violin can play a range of different repertoires. Some people might consider the violin to be a classical instrument, and yes, originally it is, but also you hear it right across the world in different genres, such as the folk fiddle, bluegrass fiddle, jazz, show tunes, pop. If you just listen to the television, you'll hear lots of background music in films that involves stringed instruments. Adverts in particular, you'll hear lots of popular themes. And these days we have some fantastic players. For example, Char Limburger, who is great in the jazz world. We've got Nicola Benedetti, who's very, very famous as mostly a classical player. Sarah Chang also, Isaac Perlman, also previous jazz players like Stefan Grappelli, and people like Patsy Reed play folk music as well, so all good names to listen out for. So that's the violin, the highest sound in the string family. Personally, I think it's the best member of the string family, but don't tell anybody. Right, so why not give it a go? You'll have lots of fun.
Hi, my name's Deborah and I teach violin and viola for Surrey Arts. In this video I'm going to talk to you about my viola here. Now from a distance the viola looks a lot like a violin. It's the same shape as a violin and it's played on the collarbone like a violin. However, there's two really important differences between a violin and a viola. The first is that the viola is slightly larger than the violin. Now I've got my violin here for comparison. So you can see that the violin is slightly shorter in the body with a slightly shorter neck. Also the viola is a little wider, especially in this middle section. But the differences are quite subtle and you can see why people get them muddled up. The other important difference is that the viola has lower strings than the violin. So we have an A string, a D string, a G and a C at the bottom. And it's the C string that makes the viola special. It gives it a much deeper and richer sound than the violin. I'm going to play you a scale across the range of the viola so that you can hear the range of notes we have and also the quality of sound. So that rich, mellow sound is one of the things I really love about playing the viola. The other thing I really love about violas is that when you play in an orchestra, you get to sit right in the middle of everything that's happening. The violas sit in the middle of the string section. We normally have the cellos to the left of us and violins to the right. Behind us is where the woodwind section sits, and behind them the percussion. And then we often have brass sections on either side, which gives you this amazing stereo effect. So it's a great place to sit so that you can hear everything that's happening and all the different sounds. In fact, it's such a good place to sit that lots of really famous composers played the viola. Mozart played the viola, so did Beethoven. It's a great way of learning about how all the different orchestral instruments work and how the sounds blend together. I'm now going to play you a short extract from a piece by Sanson called The Carnival of the Animals. This is an extract from the movement called The Royal March of the Lions.
Hello, my name's Yvette and this is my cello. The real name for a cello is a violoncello because, as you can see, it's a member of the violin family. Can you see? It's got the same shape as a violin. Her name is Petunia and she goes everywhere with me. you'll see that I get to sit down. Playing a cello, we actually get to sit down because we have a spike which we put on the floor and it stabilises the instrument. And also, in the olden days, they actually used to hold them between their knees. So thankfully we have a spike. You would have seen from the previous videos, you've seen the violin and the viola, and they're much higher sounding instruments. The cello is much, much deeper. Let's have a listen, shall we? So you can see it really sounds a lot deeper. In an orchestra, we sit either on the outside, opposite the first violins, or sometimes, if a conductor really likes to change things round, we can sit in the middle. But we play a supporting role. We sometimes play what's called the bass line. We make the first violin sound really good, but we do get to play the tune as well. And the cello is such a versatile instrument because we can play very low, and we can play very high. So we can go both ends of the scales. What I'd like to also say is we can play a variety of styles. We can play very jazzy pieces. And also we can play some very beautiful songs because the cello can really sing, and that's where this piece of equipment comes into play. This is called the bow, and it's our voice, and you can see we can play very fast, or we can play the most beautiful long sustained sound. There's a very famous piece, I know that you've heard some excerpts from the violin and the viola, and this is from the Carnival of the Animals. It's actually quite a famous cello piece called The Swan, and this is meant to create an image of a swan swooning across the lake, and this is how it goes. It's just a little excerpt to give you an idea how the cello can really sing. So it can really sing and make a beautiful sound. I hope that's given you a little idea of what the cello is all about, but it's a fabulous instrument. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye. Hello, my name's Yvette, and this is the double bass, and it's the lowest string instrument in the orchestra. It sits behind the cellos and supports the cellos to give that really deep bassy sound. You'll notice also it's slightly different in shape because although it is a member of the string family, and the violin family, because everything is basically the same. I'm going to lift it up, we have a spike, can you see that? And also it has 4 strings, bridge, but if you look at the shoulders, you'll see they're sloping. And that really is because it's quite an ancient instrument, and it's actually from a member of the viol family, which was a very ancient string instrument. If I turn it round, you can see its sloping shoulders. If the double bass was actually shaped like a cello, it would be quite difficult to get around the instrument. You'll also notice here at the top, we've got a sort of a metal mechanism, and that's called the tuning box and tuning mechanisms. And because the strings are so thick and low, we have to have this special system in order for us to tune it so they can take the strain of the low strings. With further ado, let me show you what it sounds like, the bass. So 4 strings, but you'll hear it's much lower than the cello. And it's so low you actually can see the string vibrate. but it's a fabulous sound. The double bass is used, such a versatile instrument. You might see it in jazz groups, in contemporary groups, and usually we use our fingers, we use pizzicato. That's where we pluck the string, and we use various techniques. Let's see what it sounds like. Go on forever and ever, but it gives that really bassy line for other instruments to play along with. But also it has a beautiful low tone, and there's a very famous piece that you've probably heard extracts from the violin and the viola and the cello of Sasson's Carnival of the Animals, and each little piece depicts an animal, and the double bass has the most perfect tune, and it's called The Elephant. And can you imagine the elephant walking around with its trunk, and it has this beautiful tune. And I'm going to play it to you, and let's see what you think about it. It really sounds like an elephant, doesn't it, going along? It's a fabulous instrument. I do hope you've enjoyed seeing all the string instruments, and thank you for watching.